to come by, and we're going to go through this. I don't know. I think pretty interesting slate on DraftKings. We got the news in. Sorry, we didn't do an earlier thing today. We both got a little busy, so we decided we were just going to do. We were just going to do an online piece tonight. So fire up your questions. And obviously the big news is that Anthony Davis is out. Hey, I was just telling everybody that the big news so far is that Anthony Davis is out. And the other thing is that we have news on most of Miami, but we have Hero as a game time decision, right?
Right.
But again, this is just one blurb I read, that even if he plays, it's probably going to be a minutes limit of some kind.
It's not for sure yet. Miami tends to play their guys in these spots, but you'd think that they would be a little bit less than where he's probably currently being projected.
Yeah. So seeing as we didn't do the early thing, we may as well do game by game, right?
Sure.
I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. And I'll pull this over. This is obviously an early lineup before I even had the Anthony Davis news or whatever. But the first game, like right off the bat, right? So Portland, Houston. What's his name remains, obviously McCollum remains out. Lillard gets all that usage. And I guess the first question is, who else, if anybody, do you play on Portland, right? So
I got Carmelo basically locked in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The best matchup, it's his former team. He got 35 the other night in the same basic spot. Yeah, I'm having a hard time not playing him. I don't agree with any of the projections on his production. But I don't entirely have him locked in. There will be a lineup I have without him for sure.
Yeah, so I'm kind of into fading one or two of a couple of chalky guys today. And I'm hoping to kind of get some agreement or disagreement from you.
That word Kuzma starting, by the way.
Is Markieff Morris starting?
Kuzma starting.
So Morris is not starting?
That's the assumption.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just got the notification.
No, but what I mean is that means that Morris is not starting?
Yeah, I didn't think Morris – I actually thought that this was what they were going to do. I don't see why – I mean, unless they announced Gasol is out or something.
So it's Gasol, Kuzma, LeBron, I guess KCP, and Schroeder?
Yeah.
With Harrell coming off the bench and – yeah, okay.
Harrell and Markieff off the bench, yeah.
Markieff off the bench. Okay. So I had a couple of guys I was really considering fading today. And one of them, again, I just had little tiny problems with them, like the Carmelo thing. He's coming off at 35 minutes where we took a bunch of shots. I just never got into playing him just because that's really all he does is he shoots. So again, that's not, not that he's a bad player.
Losing McCollum is a big deal.
Yeah, I know.
And Nurkic. So he's going to have there's no reason why he wouldn't keep shooting.
Right.
Yeah.
But that fact that he just doesn't get anything other than points doesn't bother you at all?
I mean, it's what you're playing for DFS for. Like you want that guy. Exactly.
Okay.
You don't really want, look, I mean, at his price, he can be scoring dependent. Like he can put up 25 real life points in this game really easily.
Okay.
It's a great matchup. It's everything about it. They there's nobody else on the team really. They have three guys who can do anything offensively. Will Simons would look pretty good the other night, but in general, Simons is not going to probably have that kind of performance. Although I don't mind him as a tournament dart tonight.
Let's talk about other Portland guys. So Cantor is going to be, between Cantor and well, there's Cantor, Wood, there's Bam, whatever. But Cantor's going to project certainly, and Plumlee. So Cantor's certainly going to project to be a good play. He's one of my top two on FanDuel. And then I think on a 4-game slate, don't you want to have some Harry Giles?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in this kind of matchup too, and I'm just going to say it again with Cantor. there will be a time where he gets 2 quick fouls,
Yep.
and all of a sudden it could be Harry Giles' season, and this is the kind of game environment you want to get.
Yep. All right. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot, actually. What about these other guys, like the like you mentioned, Simons, Derek Jones Jr., Trent? Like, what do you make of guys like that in this slate, in this matchup, and tonight?
Trent is coming off the bench. I don't have much interest in him, especially at this price.
Okay.
Rodney Hood can
Forgot about that.
It can get hot, I guess, but it doesn't really shoot that much in general. Derek Jones Jr. is just Derek Jones Jr. Nothing's really benefiting him with this. This is a good game environment for him, but I don't know. I don't really love him. I do think Rodney Hood might be more in play. Yeah, between all those guys. I think that you might honestly be better off taking a shot with Simons and playing for some upside in a good game environment. But I don't know that you need to just jump to all the other ones. I think Lillard is your focus with Carmelo. And I will have some non-Lillard lineups for sure. Harder on FanDuel to do. But LeBron is playing, which is figures.
Who?
So I'm splitting up. If I'm not playing LeBron, I'm playing Dennis Schroeder a lot. And I actually like Schroeder a lot tonight too.
Todd and RJ came in both saying the Hero is playing.
Yeah, I know he is.
Okay.
I thought we knew that. Actually, I'm actually playing Hero a little bit.
Well, that's a big deal for me because if you're right and that they're actually going to play him,
I don't know if I'm right. I don't have.
Well, obviously, you don't know if you're right, but I'm just saying if you're right and you're playing him for real, then I want him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I got you.
Do you like him more straight up over Kendrick Nunn?
Do I like him straight up over Kendrick Nunn?
They're the same price pretty much on FanDuel.
No, I like Nunn better.
That's interesting. Okay.
I don't think it's. I think Nunn is going to project out to be a pretty chalky play.
Okay.
Even with Harrow back, like the thing is, like Nunn's price dropped and Butler basically is the same thing they've been running. We would have played Nunn here anyway with Dragic, and he's probably got his minute upside is like probably 40.
Right.
So he was a guy when Jimmy was going to play I wasn't really into. I do love Bam. I like the idea of spending up for Bam on FanDuel. Had the worst matchup in all of basketball last night for centers, except for playing against him. And, can't expect much. But I get the feeling Bam is like getting overlooked here.
Well, we'll get there in a sec. So let's do the
Maybe he's not.
So let's do the Laker game, right? So even assuming
we'll talk about Houston real quick because
yeah. Okay, sorry. No
problem. I think Christian Wood is a better play than maybe some other people seem to think. He's projected fine. Like he actually I like him. I like doing the Christian Wood and mixing in my 4 centers will be like Wood will be one of them, but it'll be Giles, Wood, Plumlee, and Ayton.
Yeah, I have.
I do like what's his name though, Harrell. It's a little bit tricky.
Who do you think's going to be higher owned between Bam on DraftKings? Bam, Ayton, or Wood?
Bam, Ayton, or Wood on DraftKings?
Close, probably close, right? Ayton, maybe.
I'm gonna guess. It's probably pretty close.
Well, then, if you have to think that it's probably pretty close.
Probably because there's late news and Heroes playing, maybe people will use that as a reason to get off of Bam, even though it's not really that much different because it's like when Dragic was playing.
Okay.
Actually, Hero uses Bam a little bit more than Dragic does because Hero still has a little bit of trouble with the handles sometimes. But yeah, so I was looking at some of the other plays we have here. So I think Kuzma's a really good play anyway. Whatever, I'll bite.
What about Morris off the bench?
Yeah, I like Morris off the bench too. I'll split those guys up probably.
What about Gasol at 3,300?
It shouldn't really make any difference. He's second of a back-to-back, so that's why I like Harrell anyway.
Okay.
But I don't know that I want to play Harrell above, I don't know. I just feel more secure about the Plumlee minutes. I don't know though, actually. He's always gets in foul trouble, but if he doesn't, he's going to play 30 minutes. He just never doesn't get in foul trouble. But it is a back-to-back for them too. It's a tough one right there between those two.
It's going to be Who do you like more, Harry Giles or Marc Gasol?
Harry Giles.
Okay.
Marc Gasol, if he does something, it's just out of pure randomness, you know?
Right. Okay.
Which is fine to use on a small slate sometimes. But it's you know, Giles, you're playing for an actual reason here.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. What about on? So you like pretty much everybody on the list. Do you like LeBron?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you pay? I mean, I'm not saying presuming you can't, because you could always get it. But if you had to prioritize LeBron or I don't know, or Lillard, for example, like which would it be?
On DraftKings,
Yeah,
factoring in ownership and everything.
Yeah.
It's
a legit question, right? I mean,
I think LeBron ended up lower owned.
Yeah.
So I like LeBron.
Okay.
I also think there are, like we talked about some, like I like Carmelo. I like, I've said there's, you know, Giles, not that he's going to do a ton, but another guy who I like from Portland, so I'm already playing at least a couple other Portland players anyway. And I will have some Simons, sort of a just in case kind of a thing. I think it's in play too. I really do. We've seen him. I mean, we saw him get a lot more run and look really good the other night. And I don't exactly know why it would change. And you do get some 3-guard lineups from OKC. I mean, but still, like I would imagine he would trend more and more in this direction as long as he played well. They did lose the game, so maybe they'll make some team adjustments. It's you know, it's different how you play on these kind of slates. You try to find things. You just do things a little bit differently.
Okay. So assuming, all right, so now we have the Miami news. So now we're back to talking about Bam, right? Do you like anybody else on DraftKings for Miami? On Miami?
Let me see real quick. So I like Harrow, none in Bam.
Okay.
That's it for me. Everybody else is a force. The one guy, if you're playing a bunch of tournaments, maybe you throw Kelly Olynyk into a lineup.
Yeah, we talked about him a little bit. Did he get run yesterday or no?
I mean, he always he got his usual 22 minutes or whatever. Okay. It's one of those things. If he gets it going, he can really, you know, he crushed that game at Toronto the other day. Almost won me a bunch of money, or last week, I guess it was. But yeah, he's another guy that could initiate some offense. But really, you're sticking to Nunn, Bam, and in that order too: Nunn, Bam, and then Harrow. Robinson will play a ton of minutes, so it's probably worth, like, you know, on DraftKings especially. Well, I guess in FanDuel he's cheap, throwing him in. But I don't like him at high ownership here, and I think he's going to have some decent ownership. I prefer the other small forwards. I'd rather take all the Phoenix guys.
What do you like on LAC? Do you like Terrence Mann?
On FanDuel a little bit. I don't.
Yeah. He's
not a good, like, fantasy player. Like, he doesn't do anything. He's not going to get 4 steals every time he plays.
No.
And 9 rebounds. And by the way, it's also going to be a lot harder to get those rebounds against this Miami team than it is. I mean, although Atlanta actually has the bigs inside, so I'm a little surprised that they used him sort of more in the rebounding role. But he had 9 rebounds. It's something to look at least. But I don't know. I don't feel right about playing him at 5,400 here when there's other guys in play. I feel like not at the exact same price, maybe. Like Derrick Rose would be, but he's a second of a back-to-back, so I'm nervous about it. They did only play him 19 minutes in the front end, so there's a chance he could get up to like 26, 28, which would make him actually kind of an interesting run back with LeBron. LeBron and Kuzma, and then you could play he and Plumlee. Something like that I think actually is kind of interesting.
So I guess we'll answer Kevin's question, which is in the chat as we talk about the Clippers, because he just said Reggie Jackson ? I'm not going to be playing him on FanDuel. He's obviously going to be really popular, and obviously he's a great point per dollar play. And you know, his last game,
pretty bold, Sheets.
What's that?
That's pretty bold.
Well, his last game he played 39 minutes, right?
Yeah,
and he smashed, right? So. Good for him. I mean, that was great. Congratulations. You know, it's daily fantasy sports. It's a new day, man. I don't know. I just feel as though on FanDuel, if I could get like Lillard and Curry, and I'll say, come and get me, you know, with my raw points at the point guard position, I'll challenge you, somebody to play Reggie, and hope that LeBron or somebody else gets there at really, really high ownership. I don't know. Again, so I'm throwing these out there. Like, so Carmelo is a fade. Whatchamacallit, who I just said, Reggie Jackson is a fade. To see if anything sticks, if you like any of them. Because, I mean, look, like we said, Reggie Jackson we talked about him in this last game, like, oh my God, how can we play Reggie Jackson? Then we said, dude, even you said this, dude, we just have to play Reggie Jackson. He's just going to do it. He's 5K with the ball in his hand on FanDuel. You just have to play him. And he smashed. I just still think he sucks. And I think that a lot of things can happen in this game. I don't know, man. I'm not going to be playing him in the main lineup. That's the best I can describe it. It's probably the best point per dollar play on point. Is this the case? Actually, I'm going to confirm that. But yeah, he is definitely the best point per dollar play on the slate. But I'm still not playing.
Yeah, I'll play him.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't really. I feel like for me on FanDuel, it feels like a little bit too cute to fade him.
I got you.
But on DraftKings, I think he's actually a good tournament play too. It's a bad matchup. I mean, again, he's another one who can.
Here's the problem, Bobby.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so here's the problem. I have these games, right? I have the Clippers, Miami. You have Miami plays slow anyway. They're injured. The Clippers are missing their guys. You got.
Why is Miami only favored by 3.5 points in this game?
I don't even know why Miami's favored at all. I mean, I don't know.
Well, the Clippers literally don't have any. They don't have their best 3 players.
I like Serge. That's probably who I like from the Clippers. Actually, if I had to pick one, I think that game is going to be ugly. I think that the LA Detroit game. I really don't think that anybody scores 100 in that game.
I think on DraftKings we should just skip the Clippers. I really do.
Well, my point though is that you have this freaking Denver Phoenix game with a pick'em spread, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I kind of know who I want to play, at least part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to go to, I don't know. I just kind of want to focus on that game if I can.
Okay. Let's talk about Miami though. So we talked about Miami. So that's just the Clippers part of it. I just don't like the Clippers on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I'll play some Man. I'll play some Jackson. One guy who I do like as a long shot tournament play is Marcus Morris. And I know him being on the bench is going to scare people off, and I don't think he'll have any ownership. There's a lot of paths where he actually ends up generating some of the offense. And I don't know if Serge anybody if gets in foul trouble, these guys open wide up because he would have been like almost in play anyway at 4K with the other guys because he was playing these minutes and putting up 20 fantasy points while those guys were playing. I don't think we should just assume that he's done. And I also think Batum is going to be overlooked on FanDuel.
All right, I'm gonna go take a couple of these questions here. See, Todd, this is a good question for me, right? Is leaving 1K on the table okay for the slate? Here's my opinion. See, I'm the one that's going to say I'll leave whatever money on the table is necessary to get the guys I like in. But I have to say that leaving a lot of money on the table in basketball is really rough business. It just is. I mean, these guys, it's just very difficult to overcome that type of projection deficiency. You know what I mean? Like if you have like a 3K guy who just projects for 30 fantasy points that everybody's going to play, then you might actually get an optimal lineup that has like $1,000 less in the whatever. But I don't think that I would leave $1,000 on the table on DK in the NBA. I don't think I would do it. FanDuel, I almost might, just because the way the position works sometimes. Like you have like that big gap between like in positions, like you have one guy 7,200, the next best guy's like 5,500, whatever. And if you want to take a shot, take the 5,500 guy being 7,200. You know what I mean? That I can live with. But in draft, there's so many other prices in between there usually that people can pivot and swing to that just have such an edge over you. I wouldn't leave $1,000 on the table in anything. Honestly, anything DK NBA related other than showdowns. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little too much, but I don't think it's like crazy.
But the good thing is that when I do handle, but then I run my stuff too. I'm never really going to come up with a lineup really that's going to leave 1,000 on the table. But if I do, I'll probably there's probably a reason. I'll have to take a look at it.
Right.
But I wouldn't I wouldn't just hand build and go on instinct. You know what I mean? And then just say, oh, I think I like this. I think I like that. And 1,000 on the table, that's fine. You know what I mean? Usually something's off when that happens.
Right. This should shift the ownerships a little bit. This late news. Chief, go ahead, and if you want to keep answering questions, I'm just making a few adjustments.
What were you saying?
I feel like the news is going to have to be affected. Well, I want to get some better feeling for the ownerships soon.
Okay.
Because
I'll do another ownership run in like 10 minutes.
It feels also weird not to be playing. I'm playing a ton of Christian Wood, but I'm not playing that many other guys from there.
So so you were asking, right? So you were asking why did people not like Christian Wood as much or whatever it is. So here's, I mean, I did watch and listen to a couple. So here's the argument. The argument is that DeMarcus Cousins was played a lot of minutes in games that they won. So DeMarcus Cousins is not necessarily going to just resort to being like 14 to 16 minutes and Wood 36 minutes just like that. That there's some path where they split minutes in some way or something like that. That's the argument for it. I'm not saying it's right.
I mean, it is true they have won the last few in a row. I think Wood's a bigger part of their future. They can play them both together. Wood is rangy. He's played alongside centers his whole career. He played alongside Drummond in Detroit. He doesn't have to be the only big man. So I'm happy that people are going to be a little bit afraid of him. I'm willing to take that chance personally. I don't think I'm not going to like have him everywhere, but I do have interest in him.
Yeah, but when you ask for why,
yeah, no, it makes sense. It's logical. Good answer.
Let me just get this back up where it was. See, here's the other thing about the Christian Wood. I should probably check this out. But wait, where is this? Has Christian Wood like? I mean, we didn't even talk about the other Houston guys, right? Are you playing Oladipo? Are you playing Wall?
I'm not playing that much of them. I like Oladipo a little bit better because I just don't. The minutes with Wall, it's hard to trust the minutes. I would absolutely love to play Wall if I knew he had no minutes restriction. We don't have that information. They haven't told anything yet. So once we get that, if we get that would determine it for me.
One thing I'm not doing, I'm not playing any of the ancillary Detroits. Are you playing any of them?
Plumlee.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean Detroit. I'm sorry. I meant Houston's.
I have a lineup or two with Tucker.
Okay.
Not much. No, it's hard for me to figure out Houston. It's a shame because I think that's actually the best game to attack.
You think the Houston is a better game than the Phoenix game?
Phoenix is like one of the slowest teams in basketball.
Yeah, but they're playing the Warriors.
Yeah, but Houston and Portland play fast and play terrible defense.
Yeah, I guess. I don't
know. I mean, look, there's going to be some late news. Don't be shocked if somebody sits or something or
right.
And right now, it's possible.
Oh, in the which game? In the Phoenix game?
Yeah.
Well, what's unfortunate, is there's kind of a sneaky there's a sneaky guy in that game. So Cameron Payne was ruled out yesterday, and probably one of the only, I don't say smart things I did was I did play some of that Javon Carter. I don't know if I still want to do that, but
I played some Javon Carter. I'm going to play a little bit of him.
Okay.
I like him better tonight than I did last night. It's a better matchup. Chris Paul on the back-to-back. You could have less than minutes. I have some Chris Paul too. He tends to play pretty tough against Curry, but yeah, I just I don't know. That's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna go right back to the same guys, by the way. That I don't want to say busted, but sort of busted. I want to go back to, and again, you even called it. You're like Cam Johnson always projects well and never gets there.
Yeah.
But I think I would go back to that.
Cam Johnson and Bridges, by the way, both.
Yeah, I think I would go back to that, and I would go back to I don't know, maybe Duo Cosm Razor, whatever. Just play simple and play. You're presuming they all play. Just play Paul and Ayton and Curry and fill in your value.
Yeah. I have to tell you the truth. I have some Morris lineups tonight, by the way. You know, I love to do the
like
names,
that, huh?
the names go together and everything.
But they're not playing each other, are they?
No, that would be fun. No, against each other you can't play them. I don't think.
No.
Literally, these guys who are so tough and try to fight everybody turn into like the biggest softies ever.
The anti-revenge.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so other centers. I think Ibaka is kind of interesting because of what you said. It's some of the things you just pointed out. Just want to throw that out there. I didn't really talk too much to it. I also think that I know we have I'm not going to take the shot tonight on Josh Jackson, but I'm just going to keep throwing him out there when there's other obvious chalk and Josh Jackson's around there. I mean, he can, if he gets it going, and it is a back-to-back for them, he can smash. And the Lakers are not the same team defensively without Anthony Davis.
That is true.
The one guy who I could consider using a tiny bit of from Houston, who's an ancillary piece, and I don't like it, is Jashawn Tate on FanDuel. He's 3,800, but it's really brutal. It's like it feels wrong. Just throwing it out there.
I threw this out there before. Who's your favorite FanDuel center? Is it Cantor or is it or somebody else?
My favorite center on FanDuel is right now. I have more Cantor and Harrell and Plumlee.
Okay.
I mean, it's a combination. But I'm going to take a quick look at the updated and see if we got an update on projections. What have you got in terms of projections?
I'm doing that now, actually.
Yeah, let's look at that. I'll answer some questions in the meantime while you do that.
Yeah, I'm going to upload. I'm going to get
a
new ownership run and a new projection run.
I like Wood, yes. Giles might get some more run since Wood is more mobile than Cantor. That's part of it. Yes, that is definitely part of it. But also there's still Cantor foul. Like foul trouble is a real thing. It does happen to him sometimes. And on top of it, this game might play a little quicker than he wants to, and it might not be as easy for him as the last game to beat up on Wood and then Cousins. We'll see how that goes. I don't think he can guard Cousins. I don't think Cousins can guard him. So it's going to be an interesting thing. Cantor or Ayton on DK, for me it's Ayton, but I totally understand Cantor. I get it. I just personally went a little bit of a different route today. Let's see if we got new news in. Doesn't look like it.
What are we waiting on?
The Ochoa thing, I just want to say something. There's always going to be games where guys have games out of the blue or out of nowhere or whatever. It's not our job to assume that they're going to do that. Will we assume that Ochoa is going to have 5 steals and blocks in 15 minutes? Maybe he'll do that. The matchup seems good enough. Against the sloppy Clippers team, I really like Miami to win this game. Look, he's a wild card player just like the rest of them, but he's a worse one to me than Giles. Not saying that Giles will outscore him. I'm not saying Giles is going to outscore him, but Giles is by far the better play. Giles can put up 40 fantasy points in the game if things break his way.
Speaking of these Miami scrubs, I mean, it's a good thing that we didn't do a noon thing because I would have whined a lot. Because yesterday I did
totally different. That's what I was saying. Today was going to be one of those where it doesn't even matter about getting you ready for the slate because you get a few things that are going to just completely change everything. We only have 4 games to choose from. So
no, what I was going to say is that I did a lot of good things yesterday, and I got totally super cute with a play. I played what's his name, Gabe Vincent.
Andre Iguodala's out.
Okay.
Speaking of Gabe Vincent.
I played Gabe Vincent at 3,300, and he did nothing they gave him 9 minutes.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
I gotta run away for 1 second. I'll be right back in a second. I'll answering any last real quick questions. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Any love for Kelly Oubre in a revenge game?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, yeah, he's fine anyway as a play. Do I like Carter for cheap? Yeah, he's fine. Carter, I do have a little bit of on DK. That's for sure. Adebayo plays way better when Hero's feeding the ball. I don't know if that's right because Adebayo's had the biggest games of his life lately without Hero, and they run the offense through him a lot more when Hero's not there. But he does screen and roll for him, and and they do stuff together a lot. That's true. Schroeder on FanDuel, I like him, but I don't know. I think you have to play him. I think if you play Schroeder on FanDuel, you have to play him with Reggie Jackson. That's my personal take. I'm not saying you can't play lineups without Reggie Jackson. Sheets' strategy made logical sense to me, of just paying up at both spots. But if you don't play Reggie Jackson, if you're going to pay down in one of your spots, and if you play it, Sheets, would you agree with that? That you would play Schroeder only in the same lineup with like a Reggie Jackson, because you're treating the position differently, right?
Schroeder's a point guard?
Yeah, on FanDuel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I have no interest in Blake Griffin. Other people might. He's fine. He fills in with a bunch of other guys. There's literally hasn't gotten.
What about Derrick Rose? You play him more than most people.
I love Derrick Rose. The problem is I'm worried about the minutes on a back-to-back. He doesn't usually play that many, but he is too cheap. And, the Lakers are in town. He only played 19 minutes last night, so maybe he's kind of interesting. All right, I will be back in just 2 seconds.
Okay, so what I'm going to be doing while he's going is just doing another run of projections based on the most recent data that I have available to me and see if anything's really changed. This does not factor in the Iguodala news, but it does factor everything else in so far. Kuzma remains top play, and I guess since Morris was ruled to not be starting, he's down a little bit. Gasol was up a little bit as far as a good value play. As far as ownership goes, some of these are a little fishy, but Kuzma 30% makes sense. Chris Paul up there a little bit. Plumlee.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing that's changed, I mean, Morris is not as much of a smash at you know what I mean, because he's not starting. Carter's getting up here as a little bit of a value too. Let me go back to FanDuel because that's what. Hang on. Let me just see. Oh, I got to run FanDuel. Which one did I run? I just ran DraftKings, right? So I'll run FanDuel, then I'll make some lineups. And let me see what the ownership might look like. Lillard and then Reggie Jackson. But so you're going to get Reggie Jackson and Lillard both with 60, 40% or whatever it is. So if you want to play Paul and Lillard together, and fade Reggie, you can do that. But what I'm going to do is, I mean, honestly, this is the deal. Maybe they roll it out. I don't know, but I'm going to probably play Paul and Curry. Those are, I'm going to play them together. They correlate. I just kind of like that.
Wow, you do the Paul and Curry thing. That you're really going to be. That's going to be unusual. Even though people will have those guys, they won't have them without. It's really going to be unusual to pay for Curry over
Lillard.
Yeah. Really, really unusual. Right now, I've got to edit some of my. Because I want to get some of this stuff in. I haven't updated.
Yeah, I'm doing that too.
On FanDuel, let's take a look.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to.
Yeah, Bam has become now super popular over here. I liked him when he was going to be a little bit less popular earlier in the day when Jimmy was going to play. Boy, oh boy. It's going to be hard not to go with the chalky Kuzma up here, but you do have other options, by the way, on FanDuel. You don't need to do it.
Hold on, I want to see what a decent lineup looks like with these guys in. So this is my initial run, but I want to fix this.
Guys, don't sleep on Schroeder, by the way. I like this play. Somebody asked me if I like Rodney Hood. I don't very much, but I do have him in a couple places because he made a couple things work.
I don't know if I could do all of those. Wiggins, Oubre. This is a full stack in this game, right? You like Devin? You like Jevon Carter a little bit?
Jevon Carter. Are you playing him with Chris Paul?
I might.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
it could get there, but it just doesn't. You're playing Carter and
there's just no need.
yeah.
Hero. Well, Hero is an interesting decision.
Hero,
just in general.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting play on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, I didn't find him as much. Boy, I really thought I was going to have the nuts last night when I had like my shooting guards from. I mean, Clarkson was obvious; everybody played him, but nobody played Buddy Hield, and he put up like 50 something.
Okay.
And I just thought I was gonna get home, but I couldn't get anything quite right with it. You know what I mean? I had way too much Luka too. Gary Trent. Okay, some conflicting reports, but Gary Trent is now expected to start over Rodney Hood. It's just funny. I don't even know what else to say. It's just funny.
That would, I mean, I don't want to say make sense, but that wouldn't be the worst.
No. You can double punt your power forward too on FanDuel and play Giles and Kuzma. It'll get a little weird. You could do your weird point guard thing too if you did that. Actually, it's not even that weird. They just play Curry and Steph, or Curry and Paul. Chris Paul does usually come to play against Curry. That's the only thing. Carmelo, Giles. What else do we want in this lineup? I guess that's the one you'd play Oladipo.
And we'll take this out, and then we'll unlock them and see what they look like without them locked.
Yeah, now I think I prefer Harrell over Plumlee on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think so. You know who I'm kind of liking a little bit on FanDuel again? I'm kind of going a little bit nutso, but somebody else that you mentioned, if you don't want to do any of that, play Olynyk.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get to him on FanDuel as much, but maybe that's a mistake. It's sort of a wild card play in general with him. I have to say, something feels funny about this. What if Derrick Rose is like a full go tonight? I feel like he's getting like undervalued by the industry, by everybody, by all of us.
You could be right. That's usually not the kind of guy. I usually don't play him, but there's no reason why. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm interested. Is he's just really cheap.
Yeah.
It's hard to play him over like the Clippers guys. Well, especially what's his name? It's cheap over here. 5,500. I'll think of it as I find it. Luke Kennard. All right.
Maybe it's oh, so wait. So hold on. So here's a question for you. Now, again, I think the answer could be obvious, but aside from the fact that he was in the same spot last time and didn't do anything, why are we not playing Lou Williams?
You play Lou Williams.
Okay.
Worst matchup. They've shown no sign of ever giving him the minutes. He's never played the minutes this year. That would be my reasoning.
Makes sense.
But there's always that potential game, like that he gets it going. But I still like the fact they never ever closed with him. It doesn't, it's weird. It's hard to play a guy like that at that price too.
Let me see what the DraftKings looks like. Oh, we got 20 minutes? Oh, no problem. Maybe he should put some dummy lineups in all these AD. I have 45% Anthony Davis still in my DraftKings builds. I still haven't changed anything. Maybe I should just do that first before I.
Yeah, I probably want to change that one.
Something random in before I do anything. Right? It's a good idea.
It happens to me a lot. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's see something.
ended up with more Jeremy Grant today than I thought I was going to have. The Lakers have oddly been really bad against wings, and Jeremy Grant, it makes a sense if I'm going to play like 3 Lakers in one lineup to run it back. Boy, I agree about Hero.
What?
He is an interesting play. Like,
yeah, why?
hard for me to figure out what to do exactly, but I think I'm just going to play him as my answer.
See what some of these look like on DraftKings after I do this. Yeah, Deshaun. We haven't played Duncan Robinson in a while.
Yeah, he's fine.
Oh, this is it, huh? Yeah, maybe that's the.
One thing you can do to get really weird, like you can try throwing a little Anthony Simons on FanDuel.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Play him with Reggie Jackson, and then you're off and running.
Paul, Michael Bridges. What do you think of? I think I brought him up to you before. Derek Jones Jr. No big deal either way.
I mean, it's just he's just always a random play. Like it's a good matchup for him, but there's nobody I would play him over.
Okay. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Kuzma, Giles. And we talked a little bit about Blake Griffin, right?
I don't like him very much, but I understand if someone else wants to play him. I just don't find him getting into my builds. But I don't mind. I don't think he's a bad play.
Marcus, how about Marc Gasol and Markieff Morris together?
It's not ideal, but I don't see why you need that because you could just play Carter.
No, I know. I'm just spewing right now.
No, sorry. I thought maybe it was a question. All right, I'm going to get a quick look at questions before I finish my lineups here. Any PJ Tucker on DK? A little tiny bit. Are you splitting up LeBron and Schroeder? I am mostly, but not entirely. I have some game stacks with both of them. You think Hero none and Bam on FanDuel in the same lineup is okay? I do not. I think that it's okay if you're going to only play 4 other Clippers and then 1 other player. But even then, I think you're reaching. And I wouldn't do that in a tournament. Do you agree with any of that, Sheets?
Say that one more time.
They asked if Bam, Nunn, and Hero all together. And I said not for me on FanDuel unless I was playing 4 Clippers.
Bam, Nunn, and Hero all together.
If you're playing 4 Clippers, I think it's okay. If not, I don't think it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's more likely to be okay. I think it is more likely to be okay tonight because on a smaller slate, if that helps.
Mm-hmm.
You like KCP at all today? Just whatever.
Fine. It's the same as it is him going back to Detroit. You know, he'll probably maybe he'll get an extra shot or 2 because of the current environment. But I wouldn't say like I like him, but he's KCP. I've got a few lineups with him in it.
Yeah. You know what I like your Morris lineup.
Yeah, I think the Morris might be in business here. But now I can't really play my guy anymore, who I was going to play a lot of. I was going to play a lot more Harry Giles on FanDuel. You can still do it, but like it's weird you kind of have to play him with Kuzma or Morris, because to just straight up bet that he outscores both those guys feels like a little bit reachy. Like one of them should outscore him, right? Yeah. I mean, although if he puts up that 40 game that we see from him every now and then we're different. Okay, I'm almost to my big lineup. Still haven't gotten to them yet. Plenty of time. 15 minutes. Plenty of time.
Are you kidding? I mean, I don't even. I should go get something to eat. I could go back and tweak my hockey lineups.
This is true.
I'm already like all steamed that they have no M&A this week.
Yeah. That's like what are you gonna do with yourself?
Love the MMA. Meanwhile, they still haven't freaking filled that freaking satellite.
Really?
Yeah, not even close.
Huh.
Just give me my 3,000.
It's annoying.
It's since August.
So annoying. 8,336.
Let's see here. Visit lobby. Let's see what it is. Let's see. Visit the lobby. Oh no, that didn't even give me that lobby. Knockout King. Let's see some questions. So I'm basically done. So I can take some questions. Let's see.
Okay, good. Yeah. Read them out loud. So
all right. QQ Bobby. Any PJ Tucker on DK?
A little bit.
Dracornius Drac. What about Crowder Fellas? I like Crowder Fellas. I do. I like Crowder today.
I like Crowder. I mean, look, the guy shot 5 for 17 in the last game, right? And he put up 36. But yeah, I like him actually in this matchup. But back-to-backs always worry me a little bit. But Crowder is a pretty tough guy. I like Mikal Bridges the best of all those guys, but he's a little bit more expensive in a different position than Crowder.
I got 10% Josh Jackson on the FanDuel. That's not
bad. Boy. There you go. I am playing some Cam Johnson tonight. He's a little cheaper on FanDuel, so.
You gonna play any Hood, even though he's not starting?
No, I wasn't gonna play him if he was starting. I mean, it's just like we could always do it kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, Hood on FanDuel is really he's like 5,000.
Hood is like yeah. Let me see something real quick about. I really wonder where we're getting this hero minutes projection from. What are your thoughts on this one? Because he's pretty intriguing. I mean, Nunn is still going to play so many more minutes, like guaranteed, or seemingly guaranteed. Yikes!
Let me see. Oh, you mean hero? Let me just see what I have for him in general. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's 30 fantasy points enough? Probably not, right?
Probably not. I might be, but he could put up more than that by a lot.
Yeah, I'll try it. This is the stone nuts. Love this. Yeah, I think that I think I see the future. I think I see that I'm going to be having a late swap a zillion things when Chris Paul gets ruled out.
Yeah. I hope
he's not going to get ruled out. They're playing Curry. There's no way. They're playing.
Yeah. Sheets, any other questions pop up that you noticed?
You think heroin on Bam? Oh, I saw that one. That's like more of a Sheets thing to do than Bobby. Just
what is it?
Just to play the hero Nunn and Bam on FanDuel in the same lineup.
I mean, if you're going to play 4 Clippers, it's okay, and you can actually do that on FanDuel.
Yeah, I would play. I would much rather do something like that with the Phoenix game.
Yeah.
I play like Curry with a bunch of Curry, Paul, and a bunch of those Phoenix values.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see, Precious. Hey, what's up, Believer? Let's see, a Believer says Precious might be sneaky value. One is ownership.
You can. He's not going to be owned much. You can play him. He'll have like 5 to 10% ownership. He's fine. But there's no like just because he had a good game with a bunch of blocks and steals in 20 minutes like doesn't I don't know. I'm not looking at him.
Yeah, no one's going to play him. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't. I'm not going to talk you off of much on a.
I don't think it's the worst idea. It's like it really isn't a bad idea. It's just there's no like what makes tonight the reason to play him or kind of the thing exactly.
Eric Johnson, again, I think Bobby, you're coming in a little differently on this one. Bobby, I speak for him, but I think Bobby prefers the Houston-Portland game, and I still.
No, I don't because I can't play. I can't play on DraftKings. I can't play enough of the Portland, the Houston.
Oh, okay. I like the Phoenix. I like the Phoenix game.
Yeah, I'll bet you. I'll take the. I mean, you want to do it over under versus over under? I'll take it. I'll take the Portland Houston to be much higher scoring.
That's interesting. I mean, I presume that the over/under on the Phoenix game is much higher, right? I mean, the Houston is much higher. What is the Houston? Was it 230?
I guess somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix plays. Phoenix is playing much better defense. What is that? What do you got there, Believer? You're going a little bit bananas there. Oh, that's like the spreads or something. You're trying to post something in there.
What is it?
Let me see what else. So somebody, Eric, before asked about PJ Tucker. Gino said he's splitting up LeBron Schroeder. I don't think I have a share of LeBron.
I have LeBron everywhere.
That's beautiful. Someone's gonna be in. Someone's got a shot. Any Marc Gasol on DK? I think I do actually. Yeah, I got a decent amount of him on DK actually. God help me. I lied. I do have 20% LeBron. I lied. Ooh, I got a couple of. Yeah, these are good ones. I got 50. I think boy, the more I think about it, the more I think the sneaky one might be the Lou Williams.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. You know what I keep coming back to? Why playing Lou Williams is so hard for me is that when he smashed for me. I mean, he totally smashed. He looked like, I swear to you, and there are people like this. There are players like this. He looked like he scored 80 fantasy points and he had like 30. You know what I mean? Like he just shoots. And even in that game where I smashed him, he had a couple of steals, did whatever, and he looked like he had 80 fantasy points and he had 30. Derrick Jones, Ayton. Oh, I'm pretty well. Actually, that's not true. On FanDuel, I do have more Cantor than anybody. But after Cantor, the rest of it is pretty spread out, man. I got like for example, I have the same amount of Olynyk as I do of Plumlee on FanDuel.
Oh, really?
And Harrell, all of them the same. And Ayton. I mean, Ayton's obviously the best.
I like Harrell a lot, though. I think that there's definitely upside for him in this one.
Nice.
Detroit's the kind of team you should clean up against.
Getting any Jeremy Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
What I'm worried about is not like the non-hero thing. I feel like you could. I do have two of those. Like I'll play one of those guys with Bam. I think on FanDuel, maybe I answered that question too quickly. Maybe you could play them all together. I just don't think you're getting different at all by doing that. Like that's not going to be like I'm going to get off the board with it. And then for them all to hit their ceilings, you kind of need the Clippers to go off. So you definitely need to play the Clippers. So you could probably get away with playing 2 or 3 Clippers and doing that maybe. By the way, you know what today was? Today was the revenge day for all the bad golfers from last week, like we talked about.
Well, this is really interesting. So Billy Horschel is just destroying my life. However, I'm fifth in the Monster and on FanDuel.
Oh my goodness! Is he in that lineup?
Now it was Jonathan Vegas -2. Hang it in. But here's the thing: you got to keep an eye on. I don't know if you caught this, but whoever played on the North course today, basically, was like 2 strokes, are supposed to be 2 strokes better.
It was 4.
Oh, is that right?
At one point, it was at like 1 p.m. my time.
Well, I'm afraid to look. I just have this weird feeling that all the guys that did well were on the good course. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow. Yeah. But that was good, man. We came up with that at the last minute, by the way, the Patrick Reed, right? Like totally like that no one's gonna play him thing.
Yeah, when we did actually, I played some of them, and we also got I told you Sam Burns. I had him 40%.
Yep, absolutely.
When a little
nuts. It's so funny. You don't play FanDuel golf, but look at some of the ownerships you get because you could stack these top guys so easily. I got like Scheffler at 4%.
Oh, Scheffler, that's another one.
You got Scheffler at 4%. I got Reed at 9%. Hovland at 8%. You know what I mean? Like because it's so easy to play the top guys that the Rahm and all them, they're all like 30%, like all the time.
Yeah.
Look at this sharp player. Everybody coming in at 15% like a champion.
I know. I can't figure out my one last position here. I need like a forward for under 4 under 3.9 on FanDuel on DraftKings because I have.
What do you need?
I don't think I can get it. I don't think it's available.
What do you need?
I could play the Precious thing, or I could play Abdul Nader.
I could do this. What do you need? A forward for how much?
Under 4K. I think it's Abdul Nader.
Yeah, wait. So, and you already have Kuzma and Markieff Morris? And you already have Markieff Morris?
No, I already have Kuzma. I'm using Kuzma in this one.
And you can't play Morris with him?
If I play Morris, I can't even move up to Cam Jet. No, it doesn't do me anything.
And you can't. It's got to be 4K. It's got to be 4K, right?
3,900 or less.
Oh shit! I had a 4K. I had KCP at 4K.
Yeah, I know. I had it. That was what I was.
3,900 drop.
Nader.
There it is. There's your Precious. Right.
I have Nader in there right now.
There's your Precious.
Shit.
Or go all the way to freaking THT at 3,100. They can blow them out of there even with no AD.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing. Yeah, there it is. Abdul Nader. There, that's it. Yeah, I'd probably find a way to rebuild. No.
Yeah.
Let's see. Don't hate on Precious. I'm not hating.
I'm not hating either, by the way. I like
Nobody's
Precious.
hating.
I'm huge on Precious in general. I just
favorite Lakers to play on DK. For me, it is Kuzma, and then actually really close between Markieff Morris and no ceiling Marc Gasol. And then after that would be actual ceiling Montrezl Harrell.
YOLO this. Morris it up. Double Morris.
Let's go. Can you play double Morris, double Bogdanovic? The same? No, I guess not.
I've had that with the Holidays though before. I've had all three, and they were
You
legit.
got triple Holidays, right?
What's that?
You got triple Holidays, right?
Yeah, and they've always done really good too.
What if you could set a rule in like the crunchers, like
You must have
three same characters in your last name?
All right, I think I'm skipping. So I think I'm gonna play Hero on FanDuel and skip him on DraftKings in my big ones.
You're playing him on FanDuel and shipping him on DraftKings.
That's my plan.
Yeah, sounds good. What else do we got here? Don't hate on President. Any Marc Gasol on DK? I probably have more than Bobby does. I think.
I think you have more than me.
There's
a lot of really good center options that are just like that are potentially better value, just a little bit higher.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so I'm gonna put no, none, and yes in my big one on yes to my man Hero. I'm so glad it didn't hiccup at the last minute like it always has been. Well, this was a lot less stressful. Is there any other questions for anything still pertinent?
Yeah, I don't think so. What about your Isaiah Stewart?
Yeah, I mean, look, those are the reach plays you can make. I like the center spot, so I didn't end up doing as much of that stuff.
I got to get to Giles a little bit. I got to put him here. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to play Gasol. I don't know why, but I don't want to play Gasol and Morris in the same way.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm not saying I got too much of Morris, but $3K, God's sake.
Yeah. How did we forget to play Alex Noren this week? I can't believe you're fifth in the Monster Rate. That's pretty cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, not bad.
But you have is there any chance you're going to have everybody make the cut?
Yeah, they'll all make it.
How do you know they'll? What do they add? What?
They're all teetering on the edge.
How are you so sure?
They're all teetering on the edge, and they'll probably play on the good course. We'll see what happens.
Oh my goodness!
All right, guys. Good luck, and for live anything deep in the Phoenix. Listen, when Reggie Jackson goes for 15 fantasy points, and CP3 and Curry are lighting it up in the last game, maybe you'll hear from me. We'll see.
I hope so, Sheets. All right.
Talk to you later.